everybody, I'm Oakley at Oakley Does Everything, and today we're going to be doing some maintenance and fixing some common issues with the 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Stay tuned. The first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to change the battery. This was the original battery that came with it about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago at this point. And so we're going to go ahead and replace it. It's dead. It definitely is time for that to happen. So let's replace the battery. Okay, so we got the battery replaced. Now I'm just going to go ahead and start her back up. Alright, that sounded pretty good. It's running good. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this out of the garage. It's a nice sunny day out. We're going to move to the back end of the vehicle where we are going to replace the hydraulics for the window and the hatchback. Hey everybody, I'm just jumping in real fast. I know that a lot of you watch these videos without subscribing, so if you are one of those people that hasn't subscribed, hit that button. It's right there. I would very much appreciate it. Now over time, Chrysler vehicles that are equipped with these hydraulic cylinders, they go dead over time, and as you can see, these are well worn out. So I have some replacements for both of these hydraulics, as well as one for the hatchback. I replaced one of them before and it worked, but over the winter, it just didn't quite hold up as well as it should. So we're gonna replace the other old one as well. Alright, so what I've done so far to remove the bolts that are in there, it's a torque bit, the star-shaped head, and the biggest one I had on hand was, I think this is a 30, and it was just a little bit small, but it was still able to do the job. So if you want the exact right size, I believe it's a 30 or a 35. So if you have either of those on hand, that's going to be the right size. But I just used this with one of my small crescent wrenches to get a little leverage to get it going first, and then I came back with the drill, and then I think it might have died on me, the battery, and then I came back with the screwdriver and finished it off. So that got that out, and my replacement parts are these. You don't reuse the bolts that came out originally, you put these new ones in, so make sure that you have these in your kit. But then this is just the hydraulic that goes in. The cylinder part goes on the top and the stem goes on the bottom, and we just go ahead and thread these back in. And if you're using the same tools I am, it's a 13mm socket. I was just able to get that last one. I just had to push it a little bit higher and get that swivel joint position in the right spot, and it went right on. I made it a little harder than it should have been. All right, onto the glass part. All right, that's the same size, 13mm. That goes in there. Then this one is fixed in there, attached to the glass, so you can't replace this one. So we'll go ahead and put our hydraulic on now. Alright, so my second package actually did not have any of these to replace this piece right here, but luckily for me, my first package had two, and I only needed one for each one. So just make sure that you have enough for what you're doing when you replace these. Alright, the last thing we need to do with this is reinstall the door panel. When we got this, it was just held on with some duct tape. It's inside right now. We're going to go ahead, take it to the bench, and do some work to it, and then we'll come back and reinstall it. Now that we have the door panel in the basement, we can go ahead and take a closer look. there's already a few things that I know what's wrong with it. There's a primary clip up here that the backing has broken off. This is a little standoff point that goes from the door panel to the door itself. I also know that the screw that holds the door handle in also has a tear out in the plastic, so we're going to have to do something to fill it out. And that part is important too, because when you actually go to close the door, you're going to grab here, and if that screw isn't there, you're going to get some flex in the door, and then you're just going to hurt the parts that are holding it onto the door itself. And lastly, there's these clips here that actually hold the door to the panel, and those are actually the primary thing that hold the panel to the door itself and where you get most of its strength. And most of these are broken off, and so I have some replacements. So we're going to pop any of the old ones out, put new ones in, and get to working on putting some epoxy to fix some of these broken pieces. Now here's an old one and here's a new one, and you can see a little bit of the difference that will make in just adding extra support to the door itself. So I have 8 of these replacement clips, so I'm just going to go ahead and start putting them in. Alright, moving on to this piece. Again, this is a piece that sheared off of it. This is our riser or our spacer, and I'm going to find the correct orientation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and take some rubbing alcohol and just wipe this clean. That way it sticks as best as it can to it. And then we'll go ahead and take our 5-minute epoxy and put this together, hopefully. Alright, so with the door handle right here, I'm actually going to see if I can remove it and take it out of the door panel. That way I have a little bit easier room to work with. I can kind of clean up what is existing there already and just be able to do a little bit better job. So I believe taking these screws out should just cause it to pop right out. Well, it turns out that I can't do what I just said I was hoping to do, so we're gonna take a different approach. So again, I'm gonna clean this, and then I think I'm gonna take my, well, that doesn't make sense. I think I'm gonna take my Dremel and try to smooth this up, as it has a weird bulge on the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this area smooth, get it all cleaned out with some fresh plastic to deal with, and then we're going to go ahead and tape it off and then put some epoxy into that hole, and then we're going to end up drilling a new hole to use as a support thing. Alright, now we have our door panel with the clips reattached and our holes patched up, and hopefully this will do well to hold it back in place. Alright everybody, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I very much appreciate it. If you're interested in all kinds of crazy things, check out this playlist over here. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right in the middle. Other than that, have a great day. Bye.